Hello, world. This is Overtime with Terrence and Leon, a WRBI original production presented by Bruns Gutzwiller. Choose Bruns Gutzwiller for your next construction project. Also being presented by FCN Bank. FCN, building stronger communities. Members FDIC. Leon, this morning we have, again, a great individual to bring to the program that really has the pulse on women's athletics in the state of Indiana, particularly basketball, as we celebrate 50 years of women's basketball in the sport. This one's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I actually had the privilege, well, it wasn't a good situation, but the privilege of meeting Jane with a mutual friend we both have, who's been one of our first guests, Cindy Lamping, and it's one of her former teammates. So I think Jane's got a lot to share with us.
All right. Well, with that, we welcome to the program Jane Schott. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's definitely Cindy Lamping being one of my dear friends. Any friend of hers, you ask me to do something, I'm on board.
Thank you.
That is awesome. So for our listeners, Jane, aside from being a Purdue grad and one of Cindy Lamping's former teammates, tell the folks briefly just a little bit about you and what you do.
Sure. I've landed at a job where I'm an assistant commissioner for the IHSAA, the Indiana High School Athletic Association, and my sports that I cover are girls basketball right now in the middle of that. But in the fall, I covered boys and girls soccer, and in the spring, I'll get to do boys and girls track and field and oversee those programs through the state championship. So it's been a terrific challenge for me and a wonderful pivot in my career, because I was a longtime teacher, coach, administrator, assistant athletic administrator at West Lafayette and Harrison and those schools primarily, but had a few stops along the way. So for me to land in a spot where I get to impact from a different place than what I always did as a teacher and coach has been a terrific career opportunity for me. I really enjoyed it so far.
So, Coach, a lot of our listeners don't know you are just 4 months into the job.
Yeah.
When you are trying to figure out, oh my goodness, it's the 50-year anniversary, we have to do something for that. Right. Tell us about some of the things you guys are doing to celebrate that anniversary.
Well, the great thing is that girls basketball here in the state of Indiana was first recognized as an IHSAA sport in 1976. So, and that was on the heels of Title IX in 1972. So we are not the first sport to celebrate 50 years in the state. So I get to come on the heels of a couple of other sports, track and field, and also volleyball. Girls volleyball was the next one that came on. Gymnastics was before basketball, and then basketball eventually came. So I've got some people here who have been through this already. For me, it holds a special place because I was part of that history, right? Mm-hmm. I played at Tipton High School as a high school player. And fortunately for me, that was, 11 years after we started at the IHSAA. So a lot of things were already in place. The cool part is I get to go back and visit with those who were critical in starting this sport as an IHSAA sport. So we're celebrating that with a podcast, our IHSAA Insider podcast. You can get that on anywhere you get your podcast. You can find that, follow that podcast. And it's not just me, it's girls basketball 50th anniversary are some of the shows that are on there, but we do other things that are just related to sports and people in our sports in Indiana. So if you're interested in that, you'll definitely want to follow that. But that's been the best part. I've got to help tell these stories of the people that have brought girls basketball along in the state of Indiana. So that's the number one thing we're doing. The next piece will be starting to plan for that state championship in March when we have our state championship in 2025. And when we bring 8 teams down for the 4 games that we're going to have for our state finals, we plan to bring back those state finals teams from 1976 also celebrate. Hopefully that's our goal. and also celebrate the coaches that have coached in the last 50 years. We'd like to honor our coaches who have been part of our state championships for the last 50 years. So we got some things in the work. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm getting the one thing that I'm really excited about. I'm getting, information from schools who are doing their own celebrations, which is terrific. Wow. If they know that it's the 50th anniversary, they're bringing people back, they're bringing their alums back and celebrating them. So I'm really excited about the energy and what's momentum that's carrying or getting going in the state right now with girls basketball.
Well, Coach, two things that I think you mentioned, that you may have one of our local celebrities around here, our local greats, Donna Lampion, on one of your shows. So I hope our listeners will tune into that.
Yeah.
But the other thing, as you've heard about all the schools that are doing celebrations, what's been probably the most unique or the coolest thing you've heard about?
Well, I know Switzerland County is doing a throwback game, and they are doing that next Saturday. They're playing in an old school gym, and I haven't been there. And so, that's kind of a fun thing. I know down in the New Albany area, Chad Gilbert has his group doing some things, and they've got a big celebration planned in December, and he wants me to come down for that. So right now, it's just I think the athletics directors are looking around saying, okay, how can we get something together for the history, and I will say I do wish that I would have come along a little bit sooner, because maybe I could have, at the beginning of the summer said to the athletics directors, hey, this is coming, you want to be thinking about it. But I started in July, so as soon as we got there, started to try to get the word out as quickly as possible. And it's getting there. We're getting some momentum. So those will be those are the fun things that I've heard. And anybody listening to this podcast, if your high school is doing something, shoot me an email and let me know. I unfortunately can't go to that throwback game next week. I'm in a weird spot. Personally, my son is a senior at Illinois Wesleyan, and I have one more football game to sit my tail in the stands.
There you go.
And watch him play. And then they have their banquet the following week. So I'm about to move into a new era of my life where I'm not watching my kid play any sports anymore. So I'm going to have to miss some of those cool things that are happening in girls basketball, because, you get those, they only get those chances once. So I'm sitting. So
certainly,
Coach, you've been involved in the game of basketball as a player, coach, administrator. I mean, pretty much all of your career, professional career. How has the game changed in your mind to become what it is today?
Yeah. So the number one thing is that I see, and this is even me, when I think about my path and I was fortunate. I'm 6'2", 6'3". So I was one of the bigger players in the state of Indiana, and I had some skills. So, I got to make the all-star team. Our team was good at Tipton, all those things. But when I think about me now, even in the late 90s, I would not have been spectacular, because the game grew. More people got involved, better players have gotten so much better. And the women that I'm talking to from the 70s, the games right now, I've the podcast that I've done, Judy Warren, Melinda and Melissa Miles from Bloomfield, they talk about that, how the game has progressed, even the 10 years that, from when I played versus them. It just kept getting better and better and better. Yeah. And now we're to the point where, in my opinion, watch a women's game, watch a college women's game, watch a high school. I went to a high school game last night. It was beautiful. There was so much great skill, way beyond anything that I would have seen when I was in high school. And, even when I started coaching in my coaching career early on in the 90s, the game has just progressed to a point where it's fun to watch. Players are skilled. Coaches are better. I got better. We all got better. We run plays. We do things that make it so that there's strategy. It's fun to watch. So the progression has been fabulous, and I'm so blessed to have watched it all. To see it all. Those games that started in the 70s. I was 7 or 8 years old. I didn't know they were going on, but I started playing at that time myself. So all of that is part of the progression, and I'm feeling lucky that I got to watch it all happen.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Coach, when you particularly, let's talk about you watched that game the other night, and you saw a beautiful product that was being put out on the floor. What do you think some of the major contributing factors to those changes that you talked about in the game?
Well, opportunity, number one. I mean, and that goes all the way back to the 70s when you talk. I got the good fortune to talk to Teresa Wins and Mildred Ball, two of the first assistant commissioners behind Pat Roy here at the IHSAA, and they watched it happen. Basketball coming into opportunity for girls, give them the opportunity to play, and they will find a way to show up and get better and put a great product on the floor. So I think opportunity is the biggest thing, and that has increased year after year after year. When I think about what I was able to do, I got to play AAU basketball at Anderson with the Lady Netters under Willie Turner. And I got lucky because my high school coach, she would schedule tough teams, and she scheduled Anderson. We had, we weren't as good as Anderson, but we scheduled them because she wanted us to be better. So I got lucky. Somebody saw me, and that's how everything started for me there. But the opportunities now, I think, are more prevalent. So you don't have to just be lucky. You have choice, and sometimes that can be bad. I think sometimes we specialize a little bit too much. I was a 3-sport athlete. I will always encourage kids, don't just pick one. When you're younger, play them all. It's good for you. It's good for your body. It's good for your mind. It's good for emotionally to be coached by somebody different and all those things. But I think now that there is that opportunity to specialize, you can play a lot more basketball, and the product has gotten better. And I think women, they when given that chance, the young girls, they want to be good. They see people, they watch people, and they want to be like that. So now, not only is the opportunity there for them, but they're seeing it on TV. You can watch a game. I mean, think about that. I don't know. You guys look to be about my age. I don't know. You probably look a little younger, but we're about around the same age, right? That's true, right? Am I right? I'm probably about right. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
if I offended you, I'm sorry, but it's, you look you're a little bit younger than me, maybe. But do you remember who did you see on TV? Women on TV. When you were at an impressionable age, 8 to 15 years old.
The only thing you'd see Cheryl Miller, and you see the Olympics. That was it.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. And so guess who one of my role models is? Cheryl Miller. Loved her. Loved her. Because that's who that I got to watch. I saw a little bit of Kim Mulkey when she was at LSU with the pigtails, but not until the national tournament. So a little bit of that. And then, who else I idolized when I grew up? Martina Navratilova, and the first from tennis. Because why? Yeah. It was on TV. There's a woman. Yeah. There's a woman on TV. There wasn't any other things. So now, as we grow, and when I played college ball, we had a couple of games that were on TV. We got to be on ESPN once. We played Iowa, almost sold out the arena. I'd have to go back and figure out what year that would have been. Maybe in 1990 or somewhere around that era. And that was big, Well, now almost every Big Ten game, you can find every game on. So girls get to watch it if they want. And that's so opportunity and exposure. And then, they're the piece of, I believe in the strength of young women that they do the work. You can't just watch it and want to be good and have an opportunity. You got to do the work. And then when I watched that game the other night, those girls have done the work. They're skilled. They've put the time in. They play hard. They play the game the right way. It's beautiful. It's fun to be a part of.
Have you had a chance to get any of the Fever players involved in this celebration?
So last year at our state finals, we had Aaliyah Boston help, with one of the handing out basketball to somebody and doing some things like that. So yes, we do. And I just met with the Sonia Sangstro, who's she works for the Fever, and she's going to be a great partner for us. We are so lucky at the IHSAA. The Pacers and the Fever are a sponsor for us, partners, and they are fabulous. And just the fact that we get to play at Gainbridge, and they'll be present. They'll be present in our state tournament. They get out and do some things with our sectionals, which is fun, and the Fever players will do that. As of right now, no, I'll tell you, I've been focused on soccer. I had to get my soccer state tournament done, and we're only 2 weeks out of that. So the next piece is looking to see how we can get those players connected with our high school, because they understand it's a two-way street. We're good for them because they know the people that are coming to the games are our players, and they're obviously very good for us. So yeah, we'll continue to keep that partnership going.
Yeah, Coach, we actually spoke with one of those state champion soccer coaches down from Lawrenceburg.
Oh yeah,
just a little while back. But you were talking about some of the sports. Of course, soccer was being one of some of the sports that you get a chance to oversee. How special is it for you to be able to cover or be responsible for basketball, women's basketball, a sport that you played a role in, but in a state where basketball is everything? What is that like?
It's humbling. I'm honored. I take it very seriously. I feel like everything that I've gotten to experience in my life as a player, as a in both high school and college, but at the high school level, and then as a coach at the high school level, getting me to this point, everything's prepared me for it, because all the experiences that I went through, now I'm in a position to oversee, to provide that experience for coaches, for players. You know, that's not only is it, I really take it seriously, because I want to give it right back to them. I got it from my coaches, from my coaching colleagues, from my school, all the things that poured into me as a coach and as a teacher and as a player when I was younger. I get the opportunity to help provide a platform for others to continue to do that. And that's what it's all about. You give it right back because you know what it meant to you. So it's humbling, it's honoring. I'm excited. I walk into work every day and think, man, this is awesome. So it's been great.
Bruins Guts Willer is the right choice for your next construction project. We strive to deliver unparalleled service to our clients by focusing on craftsmanship and quality. Our core values of integrity, professionalism, and fair pricing all but ensures our clients receive the best possible experience. Whether it's commercial construction, remodeling an existing space, or even building a luxurious home, we offer a comprehensive suite of construction management services. So before you break ground, give us a call at 812-934-2105. Bruins Guts Willer, building a better future for Southeastern Indiana for over 100 years.
You know, Leon, one of the things that I like most about working and living in Batesville, it's the community. Batesville has a little something for everyone, and FCN Bank is the exact same way. Whether it's my personal or business needs, FCN offered me an array of banking products and services that would fit my every banking need. Don't take my word for it. You should check it out yourself at www.fcnbank.com. FCN Bank, building stronger communities. Member FDIC.
I can definitely see that the energy's coming through the screen here.
Yeah.
But help me out with this piece of it, Coach. I am a transplant. I'm not originally from Indiana. I'm from the South, where football is king and is everything. Why is it? Talk to me. Why do you think, at least from your perspective, that basketball is such an integral part of young people and their growing up, you know, from a kid to an adult? Why is basketball such an integral part?
Well, I would go back to a long time ago when, you know, we had, if you look at the state of Indiana, it was a sport that people just kind of took off, and we have a lot of small towns where I think basketball was a sport that when you're a kid, it was pretty easy to play by yourself or with, you know, a couple of buddies or whatever. And football is maybe a little bit different in that respect. And I would say Indiana, you know, because we have a lot of those small towns, we have metropolitan areas as well that have taken off. The whole state kind of, caught fire. One thing that I think that has helped keep it going in the state of Indiana, you know, we were unique and stayed single class for a long time. So there was competition that was from those small towns and big cities, and everybody, was all together. So the state kind of took that on as maybe why we were the basketball state. But I would also point to, some of the college success, the Indiana Hoosiers, the Purdue Boilermakers, even Notre Dame, that adds to it, in my opinion, because we are a basketball state. It's something that has been there for a long time. And then when the Pacers became good with Reggie Miller, I just think there's so many little things that kind of perpetuate it, that keeps it going. And there's no question, especially in my position now. I don't want us to, basketball is over any of our other sports, because we don't treat it here that way at the IHSAA. But I believe that because there's so much interest in it, and now that the Indiana Fever have Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston and, Kelsey Mitchell, and players that are Midwestern, Boston's from South Carolina, but Midwestern, they played, Kelsey Mitchell played at Ohio State, Caitlin Clark played at Iowa. That's Midwestern kind of Big Ten thing. All of that just kind of the momentum just keeps going. So I don't know. That's my best answer. All I can say is I'm lucky I'm in this state doing this sport, because it's a beautiful thing to be a part of. So,
Coach, are there things that you're doing that maybe you already have planned or you're going to plan that you could give our listeners the information about, as far as how to get involved with it, to be a part of it? To go see special events, anything like that? Is there a place we can find this information?
Yeah. So one thing is that the social media, our account is at IHSAA1. So you can follow the IHSAA Twitter X account, and that's the one place, because every time someone puts out that they're doing something, I retweet that and make sure that that gets done. You can also follow that IHSAA Insider podcast, because that we'll be putting through some information out through different things there. And anybody, if you go to IHSAA.org, all of our information with respect to, the state tournament and things that are coming up, any celebrations that we have, will be under basketball. So you'll be able to find whatever you want to know.
Thank you.
Good, good deal.
And the best thing you can do, number one thing, to anybody, I would tell this to anybody: go watch your local teams. Go watch. Go to the gym. Find a girls' basketball game, boys' basketball game, but go to those girls' basketball games and follow them. And then you'll know what's going on. You'll know if there's going to be a celebration, because they're going to bring it out. Our teams will do all kinds of commemorative things, which is a lot of fun. A lot of teams will do a pink out night where they, wear pink uniforms, and they do different things to commemorate things that are happening in their, communities. There's a lot of coaches versus cancer games that happen. These are all local. So find your local teams and support them. And that's how you can know what's going on with our 50th anniversary celebrations, for sure.
That is awesome. Well, Coach, again, thank you so much for taking the time out, speak with us this morning. Really shared some good information, and I got to be honest, I'm kind of jealous. I mean, from your seat, boy, it can't be anything but fun, right?
I mean, there's challenges that, there's a lot of things that every day I walk in, I've got to deal with this, adversity or whatever. But overall, the big picture is good. Man, we didn't even get to talk about any Cindy Lamping stories. She was a terrific player at Purdue with me, but I know we were focused on high school today, so that's okay. She was
no.
Yeah, and younger than me, so we never crossed paths in high school at all.
But you bring up a good point. You were a senior. She was a freshman. So talk to me from the team aspect, especially as a senior on that team. What was the moment when you looked to your other seniors or other teammates and was like, hey, we got a good one right here?
Well, we did have a good team, and she came off the bench and provided a lot of scoring. She was a great scorer. She was a great teammate. You guys know that because you know her. She's a great teammate. She played hard, played the game the right way. I mean, grew up in a basketball family. Her sister Donna was a terrific player and coach and all those things. So, you know that when they come on, they step on the floor and we're scrimmaging. And just even before we even started playing games, that freshman group, that came in. Jennifer Jacoby was one of her teammates from Rossville. She was a local kid that was coming. And then Shannon Lindsay was from Warren Central. So it was a good core of Indiana kids that just kind of, that was a time when Purdue women's basketball, Coach Dunn, Lynn Dunn was my coach from the very beginning. My freshman year was her first year. And she set the motion where Purdue women's basketball was the place to go, So even Batesville, you guys are closer to Bloomington, and Cindy may have grown up, I don't know, she might have been an IU fan, but she came to Purdue. Like those are the kinds of things that, when we got the best players at that time, and it was special. It was fun to play with her. I always joke with her. She didn't pass me the ball enough, but that's okay. she was a better scorer than me, so she was way smarter. She shouldn't have passed me the ball.
All right, so Coach, I'm gonna have a little fun. Okay, I know we said no gotcha questions, but I got to put you on the spot.
All right.
When Cindy came in, she was a runner-up Miss Basketball the year before, and Miss Basketball came in with her, correct?
Yeah.
I've heard, being in Batesville, that Cindy got cheated.
That's awesome. And that's what Batesville should feel like. You know why? Because she was one of Batesville's own. I love that story, because that's what hometowns do.
Yes.
They look, you put your Batesville glasses on, Cindy Lamping is way better than Jennifer Jacoby, and she should be. But listen, Rossville's got some Rossville glasses they put on, and Jacoby pretty good too. So that's my best answer. You can tell I've been in this position for a while, because I'm going to stay neutral on that one.
Exactly.
I get in big trouble, because I got to make sure, Jennifer, she might see this. And so, no, they're both, the beautiful thing is they're both terrific players. They're great. And they were different, because Jenny was more of a point guard, but a terrific, phenomenal shooter. Cindy was more of a scorer, and, they had a great career together. They got to go to a Final Four together. Our senior year, my senior year, when they were freshmen, we made it to the Elite Eight, and, got to play in the NCAA tournament and all those things. I mean, it was because those players that we brought in that were younger, they're good. They pushed us. And that's when it kind of started perpetuating itself. So 94, they go to the, national championship, but they lost in the first round to North Carolina. And then 99, they won it. So all of that kind of started. I went to Purdue in 87. And when I got there, and when Coach Dunn got there, we were pretty middle of the road in the Big Ten. We weren't really anything special, but had some fabulous players that landed at Purdue. Joy Holmes, I was fortunate to play with All-American Joy Holmes, Michelle Joseph, All-American. When you start putting those things together to go along with some other fabulous talent from the Midwest, it was fun. We got to build it, and then it kind of continued on for quite a while. So.
Coach, I got one last question. I've always noticed, and probably through following Cindy on social media, your team, or at least the core, has remained close. You all support each other, like I saw when I met you. Yeah. What advice do you have for not just young girl basketball players, but just athletes in general, as to how important it is to stay connected after playing days are done?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, I mentioned Cindy, she was a great teammate. You don't stay in touch with people unless they're great teammates. That's it. I mean, to me, when we get all hooked up on, we all want to score. We want to play so many minutes, players, you see them all the time. And I was that way too. I wanted to play. So I did my fair share of pouting when I didn't get to play, all those things, And when I look back and you're wiser, you realize all that doesn't matter. It really does not matter. It's the relationships you build with those teammates. You go through the adversity together. You're there in the down times. You're there together when you celebrate. All the things that I remember really have so little to do with the actual games and who scored and all those things. So what I would say to young players is take a step back and think about the people that you're with and building those relationships, because when you get back together later, when you're older, and you laugh and carry on, most of the time it's not about what happened exactly on the floor. It's all the other moments that go on beyond it. And I was blessed. I had good people that I got to be with in that arena. And we have kept on because of that. And There's always shenanigans that we get, it's funny. We actually said, we literally said that after, and you're right. We went to Cindy's mom's visitation. So it was not a happy time, but anytime we get together, it's just magical because we start carrying on, laughing. And even if we haven't been together for a long time, it's like we've been, we pick up right where we left off. And you have that with your friends, and teammates can be that way. So my advice to young people and sports people, make sure you just be a good teammate. That's the number one thing, because it'll pay dividends later. That may be more important than all the other stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
That is awesome, Coach. That is awesome. Before we let you go, on this program, we end every episode with what we like to call our one hitter quitter. And that is where I will ask you one question, hard hitting in nature. And yes, you have to answer. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, this is what I'm interested in, Leon.
She put her arms back and said, "Yeah, ready."
Okay.
I got like in some kind of ready position, like we're about ready to compete. I don't even know what just happened, but that's what happened.
Like she was about to defend the post like nobody's business, right? So, Coach, imagine if you would, your phone rings tomorrow morning and it's Lynn Dunn. And she says, "Hey, listen, my coaching search is over. I want you to coach the Indiana Fever." Now, listen, whatever you need, whatever you want, it's yours. You just have to keep Caitlin Clark. Coach, how would you build a team, a championship level team around Caitlin Clark?
Oh man, you're gonna hit right to the heart, because people see this. I'm gonna get it, I'm sure. But how would I build a team? Number one, there's a good core there that we saw in the second half of the season what that team can be. So I would work really hard, first of all, to keep that good core of Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell. I like the two post players coming off the post player came off the bench. I don't want to butcher her name.
Number 14.
Yeah, you got it. And Nylissa Smith. I mean, there are good core players there. So I would start with that. But I'm not going to lie. I have had my eye on Jackie Young in the WNBA as a former Indiana Princeton High School all-time leading scorer, Miss Basketball. I would love somehow to bring Jackie Young back. So I might figure out how to do that, which I don't know. I don't know enough. I'd have to say, Coach Dunn, you're the master at doing this. Here's my wish list. You go do it. So
that is good stuff, Coach. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. And I'm really excited to hear about all the things that you guys have planned to celebrate this 50-year anniversary of women's basketball in the state of Indiana. And I agree with you. The best thing that we all can do is go to the games, and we appreciate that plug, and hopefully our listeners will be able to do that.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for having me on. This was fun, and I anytime you get me talking about hoops and basketball, that's easy. That's fun. I enjoy it. I appreciate you.
Well, Coach, when it comes toward the end, when we get into the postseason, we'll definitely be getting you back on here.
All right, yeah, that'd be great. Well, I'll know a little more, and it'll be fun to see the difference between what I know then and what I know now. And hopefully we'll be rolling into the state tournament and being very excited about the teams that are going to compete for that ultimate goal at the end.
That's awesome. Coach, thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you, guys.
And that's going to do it for this one. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors for making this show possible. They include Bronze Gutzwiller, the right choice for your next construction project, and FCN Bank, building stronger communities, member FDIC. Also, we'd like to thank our friends of the program. They include Margaret Mary Health, S&B Driving School, and Country 103.9 WRBI. And as always, subscribe, like, rate, and review. And remember, be a friend and tell a friend about Overtime with Terrence and Leon.